Jericho, I was telling him I did something and the thing flipped down. So every time I see the water, I'm too scared to take it. This fear. Every long time. Recognize some faces here this evening. This morning from UX myself. Crazy stuff. So you guys are doing introductions rather, no?
Yes.
Recently I was I've asked a question here and what did you? You asked me a question. You guys asked me a question. What's the answer to a particular thing? What was it? You asked me the question?
Number 14.
What's the question?
The maximum charge.
Have you guys found it?
Yes.
That's what it does. I'm right.
It was a while back. I thought you might have found it by now. But I'll do some investigating. Okay. When I first arrived, quite a few years ago, I found there was a lot of interesting stuff in this book. The thing, it's all fair and well having a lot of interesting stuff to read, but it counts for a lot more when we can find a way to apply it. And whether we like to believe it or not, I'm supposed to say it's not.
Yeah, still-ish.
I move around a lot. You told us I made a bad decision to record me.
Yes.
We've got to come to an understanding and a conclusion that our thinking has been problematic in some way. I don't think it's rocket science for us. I don't think, despite our intelligence, our ability to be clever in certain areas, our ability to excel in certain areas, none of us, there's not one of us, that are sitting here for no reason. It's not one of us. We've made some bad decisions. I have a situation that's crept up this morning where I've got someone that's quite close to me that's finally got a good job. I think the job was paying okay, man. It was paying okay. A lot more than what it is like. Yeah, a lot more. And he's just now this morning thrown it away. And the reason being is, what do you think? Three guesses. You can't go to work because you just finished a bottle of vodka and a bag of milk. So I don't know, it's a problematic thinking. It's a bit of an issue. Now you go to work the next day and you decide to polish off whatever your thing of choice was. Is it not a problem? Mm-hmm. Now because you've been here for a certain period of time, some of us have been here for a few weeks, some of us have been here for a few months, some of us have been here a bit longer. There's a saying I like to use, and I'll use it today just to hit it off. Is it, are you sober or have you changed? Are you sober or have you changed? And the thing you must understand about what the statement I'm making here is, just because you've been clean for a period of time, you need to know yourself well enough to know if your behavior and your way of doing things isn't the same way or the same reasoning that took you to the drugs and the dysfunctional behavior in the first place. Because that's what happens. We leave or we move on or we think we've arrived. And what has happened is our viewpoints, our way of thinking is still the same. Still the same. And it's a matter of time. It'll be a matter of time until you go back into that way of thinking or the way of life. It's not just about not touching the drink. It's not just about not touching the bag. It's not just about, it's about day to day, sometimes in our viewpoint, mundane things that we see as unnecessary. We don't understand how much it can affect us. I've had the privilege recently of having an epiphany in my own life where I realized when I was younger, there are certain simple things in my life, simple things, and I mean simple things, things that are basic for most people, things that are normal for normal people. For us, generally, we're in some form of dysfunction behavior are not normal. I'm not just talking about business, because you get a lot of people in addiction that are functional for periods of time. They can function, they're doing well, they maybe excel. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking day-to-day relational issues, relational things, the way to handle relationships, the way to handle or get things done. And I was speaking to Dirk in them last night. I was just saying to him, for example, there was a truck in front of us. And I said, in the natural, these two cars, the car was standing still and the truck was there, the trailer. For me to get into the trailer, basically normal, for normal people thinking would be, get out the car, walk towards the trailer, get on the back, you're on the trailer, done. But you find when in dysfunctional behavior or addictive behavior, there's that thing, that walk, sometimes that doesn't connect. It's like the brain and that action doesn't seem to want to connect or feels really uncomfortable. And it makes no sense for the people watching us, because to them, it's normal Just, okay, get out the car, walk to the train, and get on the back of the train. Done. Plus it's like, what a mission. It is! And we're laughing! We're laughing! But look at the facts. Like I said, we're not sitting here for good behaviour. Look at the facts. It's normal. You have a situation or things going on. You can't get drunk in the situation. You need to be available. My one son, for some reason, was not feeling well last night, and I'm a very light sleeper. So any sound, I'm up. And when I'm fortunate enough, I can have a nice sleep. Every now and again, I have a good sleep. But a lot of times, my head's busy, you know what I mean? So if my sons boo or bar or beep, or even if they fart, it can wake me up. That's how I'm with my family. So needless to say, it wasn't a fart last night. It was the young man got sick, but proper. So badly that I had to clean up. I was washing towels most of the morning, so I'm not going to be very tired. But one of the main is what happens is the logical thing for me was to get up. My wife's pregnant. I can't get out of bed, man. You must have now I felt like it, you know. I had to remind myself that I really the last week just. But see, it's for me as a person, us as people, there are things that are basic things, are basic learned things. And when we're in addiction, when we operate in dysfunctional behavior, what happens is you'd leave your wife behind pregnant. You'd leave your wife behind that's in a situation. You wouldn't function. You don't function. It's getting out that you don't function because our viewpoint or the way we perceive things is not in line. So it's not just about dropping the alcohol. And this is what this thing's basically about. It gives you, showing you that there's ways of thinking. And if you're thinking that way, that's what's taking you to the criminal behavior. That's what's taking you to the dysfunctional behavior. Doesn't matter how clever you are. Doesn't matter how sharp you are. Doesn't matter how well you can speak in the philosopher's lounge. No matter how well I can speak here in front of you guys today or whenever I speak to you. If my viewpoint does not change, I cannot do what I needed to do last night with my son. It's like, duh, of course you must. No, it's not. At one point in my life, it wasn't like that for me. Let me give you an example. Years ago, I went out in the morning and I still be back in time to take my kids to the little crash. They were 2. I didn't pitch. Came back in the afternoon. I've never forgotten this. My one son Matthew waited in the garage. It was like up until 11 o'clock that morning with his little bag on his back, waiting for his father to take him to crash. How does it make you feel? It stirs me. It makes me almost want to cry. Okay? If you guys want to get it, you also make you wow. Some of you can relate. Some of you can relate in a certain way. Remember exactly. Some of you can relate. You know, there's situations or things where your kids or your loved ones, especially, it's a logical thing for me to get out the car, to get on the back of the train. So my thinking, my viewpoint, the way of doing things was out of whack, was out of line. My intention was to go and win the money at the casino. And by the way, I did win. I did. I remember I wanted money. My last 200 rand, I went and I won. I won the jackpot on that particular machine. And instead of going, I got stuck with Amstel and something else. I did what I wanted to do for my family. I remember I went to 200 rand, the third or fourth spin, Empress ballot, 2,700 rand. Done. That's what? 10 times the amount of money that I went in with? A bit more than 10 times? So I did, that's what I thought I was going to do. And it worked out. But guess what happened? I didn't get onto the back of the train. I maybe got out of the car, but I left my son, Matthew, standing there. And it's taken years. It's taken years for Matthew to connect with me. I don't think it's just that situation, it's a lot of things. But it's taken years for Matthew to connect with me again. It's taken years, and it's taken a lot of pain and heartache from my side to see how I damaged that relationship with Matthew. Ethan's always been. Ethan drives me nuts, what I'm going to say. I really does. He's all over me. He'll kiss me all the time. On my head. I've got to tell him to back off. Matthew, on the other hand, I have to force him to come out and say to me, yeah, I will be. And he ducks. Now it's different. Then I said, the only way that's going to change is for me to change my viewpoint on the way I see things. And this is what this thing's about. So we can go into detail and I can speak word for word, but the battlefield is in the mind and the way you think. Because that situation with my son many years ago can cause, I can feel it stirs me, I go, fool. But what happened in the past, when we've done this type of thing, instead of fixing it or getting the conviction to change it, which by God's grace I've changed it now, and I've caused my family to be really close. But it took me changing my way of thinking, or my viewpoint. Because the enemy's viewpoint, what he tries to, just quickly, the enemy cannot control what you think. You have control of what you think. And yes, sometimes you allow a lot of stuff, gunk into your life, which just runs. I remember when I was in psychosis, or when I was depressed, or when I was bordering on being schizo. Stuff happens inside of you that you cannot control as such. But I realized in life that if you don't feed it, it gets less. That's what I realized. That's how I overcame it. That's how I defeated it. That's how I've got further. I didn't feed it anymore. See, if I submitted to what was going on inside of me, that emotional turmoil, that way of thinking, and those doubts, temptations, evil thoughts, desires for independence, pride, lust, whatever, all these, I allow these things to dominate me, and I feed them, it will get bigger in my life. So I've come to the conclusion, and it's the same for every one of you. Don't feed it. Don't feed it. Don't feed your human viewpoints. If our viewpoints as human beings are so correct, we would not be sitting in these chairs today. Despite your, like I said, despite your good, your pluses, your pros. You need to understand, even our pros are influenced by our cons. Even our pros. So even the things we feel are good, because what happens, we want to change our life. We come into a center, we like this. This is nice, man. What's wrong with this? Huh? Some of you have been around for a while, you understand what I'm trying to say. There's some things that we think are okay to hold on to. Because it doesn't look that bad. But you understand, those things you're hanging on to comes from the influence from the cons. So the cons took you to it. The cons have taken you to it. So you need to flatten it. And it is difficult, especially when you're older. It is a lot more difficult. When you're younger, you're just more stubborn in certain ways because we know better. When you're a teenager, you think you know everything. And it goes into your 20s, you do think you know everything. And when you're an adult, you've just seen enough, been around enough to just don't have time for nonsense, so you can set in your ways. But you need to change, we need to change the way we see things. And the way we see things, we need to flatten our viewpoints, and we need to do it at a divine viewpoint. It's just what this is about. How God sees it. Despite our talents, we've made some bad decisions because of the way we see things. Okay, I'm going to skip the first part. I'm going to go quickly. The battlefield is in the mind. It's the target of satanic assault. And that's getting very but it is a target. The enemy wants you to take a focus. The enemy wants you to think on the wrong things. The enemy wants to get you. Kevin said, mental attitude dynamics in conflict. A little picture of the guy, nothing pointing, but I'm going to go to the next page. With the little man on top. I've no clues, no page number. Here we go. Just right here now. You see it, look? Yes. You see it? Here we go then. We've got a multi-dimensional sin issue relating to Christian living. Okay. There are three possible sources of thought. The first thoughts can originate from in ourselves, the influences of whatever in our life, what goes on inside of us. It originates from ourselves. Then God has the ability to think independent thoughts. They are thoughts. They are our thoughts. They are our thoughts. Just because they're our thoughts doesn't mean it's the right thoughts. Hello? We get caught up in that a lot of time. Like I said, it's influenced by the cons. It's influenced. Doesn't matter. It is influenced by the cons. A lot of us have good intention. Many of us have good intention. Good intention. It's good intention, or the thought of doing something good is bad. It's not bad. So why does a good intention turn out bad? Why would your good intentions turn out bad? It's influenced by the con. So we forget it's connected to the con. You need to flatten it. You need to settle it. Second, thoughts come from God. God can speak into our minds. The third source is the enemy. Satan. Big pitchfork, horns. Ever seen him before? Let me tell you something now, if you want to get into doctrinal viewpoints or arguments, Satan, the enemy, does not look like you think he looks. He does not. He's inviting. He's sharp. His demeanor is good. He's a deceiver. If I put into, as you guys have a business, and I come into the company and I'm dressed like terribly, that's the way I dress now. Very relaxed, very chilled out. I must admit, it's too uncomfortable to do any dress, to be honest. If I walk in and I come for an interview, dressed like this, or a bit worse, with my shorts. Do you think that's what the enemy does? The enemy comes into your life and goes, how's it? No, you think he comes like dressed up like it? No ways! Smart, man. Smart. Really, he looks good. Like, yes, what a nice guy, man. What a nice, wow, you must hire him, Arnie. No, really. That's how you'll come across. You'll come across like that. That's how the thoughts come across. The thought comes dressed nicely. The deception comes dressed well. It looks good. And everybody still agrees with you and says, no, that's the one, man. That's the thought. But they catch us all the time. That's why you need a divine viewpoint. You need a divine viewpoint. You need principles. You need statutes. Principles operate no matter how you feel or what you think. They work. There's some of you, and myself included, that's discovered that principles work no matter how good it sounds, no matter how right it feels. They work. Third source of the enemy, Satan. The force of darkness also speaks to us. We think forces of darkness will seem as false. No, they're deceptive. It lies to us, man. Deceives us. When Eve, according to the scripture, ate of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, there's two things I want to know. It said that she looked upon the fruit and it became desirable to eat. Doesn't sound very dark and menacing, does it? The apple, here's the apple. The apple looked terrible and ugly, and it gave her a fearful feeling for the first time in her life, and she still took the apple. No, it said it looked desirable. It looked, wow. This really looks good to eat. This really, that nice suit, nice, let me hire. Does it look like? By the way, I'll say this for those who don't know, Adam was with her. He was with her, he was standing there. The man had the ability there and then to say, don't do it. And he did it. The situation with our society and our world today didn't come through because of what she did. It came through because of what Adam did. Adam didn't stand up for what he was supposed to stand for. Adam didn't protect what he was supposed to protect. You like that, Cody? Big smirk on your face. He should. No, we're not go there. I'm going to say something dwarf now. No. Well, Satan cannot read our minds. Only God can do that. Psalm 7, verse 9. He can only put suggestions there. He cannot read your mind. He cannot control. He can suggest. The enemy suggests. I want to be nice now. One more time. One more bag. Okay? Or one more hit. One more drink. One more. Doesn't it sound like suggestions? Think about how we think. Everything's suggestive. Look, when we know we've got to do something, we know we have something. You have systems here at the center, right? You've got to be at the kitchen, or you've got to be at the pig, so you've got to do washing. There's a system in place. The suggestion is, don't go do washing, or don't go do kitchen duty, or don't go do pigs. Is it suggested Bible? Is it? Can you listen to it? No, you'll get yourself into trouble. See, the things we need to do are not suggestive. They are things we need to do. The things we need to get done. Going to work Monday to Friday, you've got a job. Is it a suggestion?
No.
What causes us not to do what we're supposed to do? What causes it? Suggestion. Have you noticed? When we don't go to work the next day, or we fail someone, or we let someone down, why would a suggestion came? That's how the enemy works. We all know what we're supposed to do. Suggestion stops us. Gym, if you're busy with gym, Dirkie, there's a suggestion not to go today. Is it not a suggestion? If you know what you're supposed to do and you know where you're supposed to go, there's no suggestion in it. You do it. Suggestion is what stops you from doing the right thing. So the enemy suggests. He cannot control. You suggest. And the more you submit to the suggestion, the stronger it gets in your mind. The stronger it develops. The imagination is developed. And dysfunctional behavior develops. Suggestion. Go to school is not a suggestion. Go to school. Doing your homework is not a suggestion. Do your homework. But suggestion stops us from doing what we're supposed to do. The enemy suggestions. It doesn't control your mind. It doesn't control your thoughts. He just suggests. We are the ones that submit to the suggestion. We have to take, that's our responsibility. We've got to take responsibility to the suggestions that we submit to. One more bottle of wine. 5 more beers, or just 3 more shooters. Then when I had Zita didn't come visit me at the directors, I used to be the general manager for them. Directors who come from Jericho. And I knew they were coming. 8 o'clock in the morning, be there. We count all the cash, we do all the salaries. I tell them what's happening with the CC bank case, whatever cases I'm busy with, what's happening with the bars, what's happening with the floor. And I knew they were coming. So my suggestion was, don't use drugs. Just go to the keg and have 2 or 3 beers. Let me tell you something. That suggestion ended up me still being as high and as pissed as a coot by 7:30 that I've got to go to work. And luckily my boss liked me. She was saying, little short what you use. Lord, you've been drinking. I wanted to say to Anna, hi, but I thought, no, don't tell her that part. Yes, I can stand you. So she's like, that's what she is, baby. She's the son used to do the same. But yeah, the suggestion, I knew what I had to do. I had to go home, I had to rest, I had to be ready for the next day. It was a long day, paying our salaries and doing whatever else I had to do. And me going out at night, well, it was suggestive. And I don't think that suggestion, it started becoming your thoughts because you submit to it over and over again. It starts becoming the way you think. It starts becoming the way your habits grab hold of you. But at first, it's a suggestion. When you bump for the first time, it's a suggestion. When you do whatever that you know that's wrong or out of line or out of character or what your parents have not taught you, it always starts as a suggestion. When you leave here one day and you think, I can still have 1 beer or 2 beers or 3 beers, that is a suggestion. And it's just telling you that the enemy does not control your mind, he cannot control your thoughts, he suggests. So if you submit to suggestion, a principle, is a principle a suggestion? Is gravity a suggestion?
No.
So why don't we take principles and things we know that are principle and we make it a suggestion in our lives? And instead of listening to the principle, which is not a suggestion, we listen to the suggestion. We wonder why our lives are a mess. Because that's what we do, we easily influence. Come man, I remember, I'm not going to go out tonight. And I get a phone call from Fish. Fish, Hell's Angel. He's one of the sergeants for the Hell's Angels. So you know. But he's dead now. He's controlled the meth trade in one area. They took him out. Got a phone call last night, said he's gone, he's missing. Never found his body. If you go into the Hell's Angels website, you'll see Fish. There's that. Phone me. Where are you? I'm in bed, sleeping. No, get your ass out of here. 3 o'clock in the morning, man. And what do you think I did? I said, no, Fish. I'm staying at home tonight. No, I got in the car and I went. With suggestions. See, our lives are full of suggestions. Our lives are filled with non-divine viewpoints, or the way we think, or the way we feel, and what other people think of us. We allow that to influence us so much. My life started changing towards my wife and my kids when I started relying on the divine viewpoint. Despite what I thought of myself and where I've let them down, I had to stop looking at that. I had to stop looking at the mistake. If I kept focusing on the day my son stood in the garage until 11 o'clock that morning, I would not like myself enough to be the father I need to be today. Got a mouthful there. But it's truth. It is truth. It's a divine viewpoint. Because if someone from the past, and only now, by the way, I'm finally speaking to my sister-in-law, almost 4 years later. 4 years later. She's talking. It's taken 4 years, but that's what, my point is that it can change. But not on your terms, not on your viewpoint, just trust God's truth. And why I brought that up now is because for many years, I always remember what I did in the past, point at the past, and point at the past, and point at the past. And that's what the enemy does, that's what your peers do, that's what people are angry or upset about it will do to you for a long period of time. That doesn't mean you must be in denial about what you've done. Accept what you've done, take on the divine viewpoint, and let God make the change in your life. Let God make the change in your life. 2 Corinthians 10 verse 3 says, for though we walk in the flesh, we don't war after the flesh. We are trying so hard in the flesh. From tomorrow I'll stop, from today I'll stop. That's all flesh orientated. Just let go. Stop. Just stop. Just don't negotiate first. Okay, I'll first go say bye. What's that saying? He said if you tell your family you're going to go say bye to a friend at the airport, you come back a week later, you must be a drug addict. That's what we do, isn't it? There's some of us that do that. Some of us, I never do that. No, trust me. If you don't change your life, you will end up doing it. There are things that I thought I'd never do, and I was proud of when I've been to rehab before, I've been caught up before, changed my life before, and I remember going to rehabs or being around people that I think, at least I didn't do that. Huh? There's some of us can test. At least we do that now. We start doing it. Don't think you're above it. Addiction or the social behavior is progressive. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And the funny thing, sometimes the addict does not die. When we speak about, oh, you're going to die from the drugs. Sometimes you stay alive. It's like living in a prison. It's like living in a prison. You don't die. But it's what's that thing? Self-righteous suicide. You must know what I'm talking about. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty, through God, to putting down the strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. When we are operating in dysfunctionality, when we are letting down our family or hurting our loved ones, it goes against the knowledge of God. If if your attitude towards a leader or your attitude in the center or the way you do things, and you don't, it goes against the knowledge of it does. And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience. It's not talking about the person around you, it's talking about inside of you. It's not up to you can tell us who, what, went for. It says, revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. The scripture says, what are you trying to take out? The splint out of your brother's eye. It says, remove the log out of your own eye. We like that scripture, especially when we've been challenged or confronted. Right? We like it. And we forget the rest of the scripture. It says, so that you may see clearly enough to take the splint out of your brother's eye. So what he's trying to say is, sort your stuff out. Get to a place where you have substance. Where you have an idea, and you've been through what you need to be through, so that you can show your brother. So you're coming from a place of knowing, you're coming from a place of substance. You're coming from a place where you can connect with the person to lift out the mire or the hole. This is a description of what the battlefield of the mind looks like. It's a landscape of strongholds, imagination, high things that exalt above the knowledge of God. And thoughts. There are 4 categories, and all of them refer to the mind of man. The Bible further establishes the mind as a battlefield in 2 Corinthians 11 verse 3. The verse says, but our fear is by any means as a serpent beguiled Eve through the subtlety of sin. Okay, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm going to pursue it right now. So your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ. Understand is we've added detail to our lives. We've added things to our lives. Understand that there's just certain things, there's seasons in life. It speaks about that Jesus was tempted in all ways but without sin. You heard that? And you also question, how the hell was he tempted in all ways? Do you think there was cat and meth in those days? I think there was like the Jewish syndicate, the Hebrew syndicate. So you sit and you ask yourself, and how was he tempted in all ways? Because understand something, God thinks different to the way we think. It's his simplicity that is in Christ. Christ was there. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. That's it. If you get drawn away from God, you get drawn away from relationships or hurts, those are things that will draw you away. We have the detail. We have the detail. I'll never ever mess my girlfriend around, but the girl that you're interested in isn't that pretty according to you. So what happens when the girl is pretty according to you? What then? So it's the same thing, but the details change. That's what we do. We justify the detail. We make it complex, but you need to understand, man. You need to understand, my girlfriend wasn't treating me very well. You need to understand, my boyfriend wasn't treating me very well. Or you need to understand, this did this to me, that. It's just lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, pride of life. That's what causes sin in our lives. That's what causes separation, or the feeling of separation from our Creator. That's it. It's simple, done. We make it. It's okay to do it now. Okay? It's okay, I've been clean for so long, I might as well have a few hours. We make it complicated. Principle's not complicated. Gravity works the way gravity works. The law works the way it should work. That's it. There's laws of attraction. There's laws of gravity. There's how many laws that operate? The spiritual assault on Eve was not against her emotions, but against her mind. That's interesting. Why do you think they say that? Because the way you think creates the way you feel. The more you think the wrong things, the more you mess your emotions become. So when you want to change your life, you have to backtrack. First things first, you need to understand your mind's in a bit of a mess. It creates feelings and desires and things that have caused dysfunctionality in your life. So you need to first of all say, I've got to stop listening to what's going on inside of here, I've got to work what's going on here. That's what they're trying to say. Didn't take your mind first, got it to think a certain way. Looked at the fruit, it said, she looked. And she looked. Look it up. It says she was checking it out. So I don't know if she stood there for 10 minutes, I don't know if she stood for half an hour. It wasn't immediate. When the enemy beguiled her, she didn't immediately, oh, thank you very much. She gave it thought, right? She gave it thought. Go read Genesis. This is your watch, and she said it became desirable. If it was immediately desirable, they would have had a long time ago. That feeling, or that desire, that feeling of desire was there from the beginning. They would have done it a long time ago. What happened was, the enemy came along, gave suggestion. One suggestion was taken, and she started, what happened? It became, read the Bible, it became desirable. And then she ate. Then she partook of the knowledge of good and evil. Then. So what do you think happens in our lives? Hello? It becomes desirable. Lust of the eyes, the lust of the eyes becomes desirable. Lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes begins, watch something, becomes something, starts feeling something, and then it becomes the pride of life. Progressive, isn't it? The spiritual soul of evil is not against emotion, but against the mind. Here we have the corrupt mind. Other references describe the fleshly mind, the froward mind, the vain mind, the defiled mind, and the shaken mind. Strongholds. These are fortresses or prisons. The human viewpoint has a way of building these protected areas. When we come to the phase or certain phase in addiction, what is it becoming in our lives? The stronghold. When you had weed for the first time, was it a stronghold immediately? You had your first drink for it, was it a stronghold immediately? No. You build a stronghold. You've built it. You spend more and more time. You've built the stronghold in your mind. So it becomes a part of who you are. You do it automatically. You don't have to think about it. I remember leaving years ago, 10 years ago. I had this girlfriend and I always promised I wouldn't use and I won't do it again. Just won't. And I remember getting in the car and at the time I was going home. I was really going home. And I remember seeing, you're going home, you know? You're going home. And as you come towards Craft Road, I see Craft Road, I thought, I'm just heading to the wedding. What was that? And my intention was what? To go send it to the so get to the wedding, the doors, there's a dead guy there, walk up the stairs. How's it? How are you? No, nothing. Nothing. Don't want anything to drink. I was going to come to the house. You should have something to drink. No, I'll carry on. Suggestion. There we go. See. What do you think happened then? I got home 7:30 the next morning. Not that night. Not many, eh? Strongholds. I'm going to stronghold in my life. So my intention was to go Saturday to the wedding, and that was the principle was there. I was going where I shouldn't have gone. My decision to go home should have been my decision to go home. I allowed the suggestion to come in. Stronghold. That's how the enemy gets you. That's how the enemy will get you when you leave here. That's how the enemy will get you while you're here. You'll make a suggestion. You must take the suggestion. If you wake up in the morning, you have duties here in the morning, and someone in your room is being a douche, or a monitor is being in your mind, is being a bit of an ass. Does it deter from the fact that you need to do what you need to do?
No.
So if you allow their actions and the way they do things to take you away from what you need to do, what is it called? So is suggestive things divine behavior? Hello? God says you're a son of God, you're a son of God. If God says you're a son of daughter of God, you're a daughter of God. That's it. You live accordingly. You move away from it because you allow suggestion in your life. You move away from it because you allow the way you think and the way you feel about certain things to take you away from who you actually are. You allow things that happened to you in your past to remove from you what God's trying to give to you. It comes in many forms. Lust, that's the fish, part of life. Many forms in the sense of detail. The enemy needs to do deceive us. You must dress it up nicely. Huh? Get you to look at it. Get you to look at it for too long. Get you to think about it for too long. He's clever. I don't care how clever we are. I don't care what your IQ is here. He's been around a lot longer than all of us combined. Times. Thousands. You think you're outthinking him? No. Man, you need the greater in your life. You need the one stronger than the strong man. And your mind, your way of thinking, or your way of working things out is not strong enough. It's not. We created as a family. We created. You ever notice when you pursue your own way of thinking, your own doing things, how it destroys relationships? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It destroys it, man. It takes it out. It whacks it out. No matter how great you are, you just destroy relationships. You pursue the alcohol, the drugs, you destroy it. When you refuse to listen, you destroy it. Do you think listening or heeding a warning is a divine viewpoint or human viewpoint?
What?
It's divine. Listening, to listen, to obey, to submit. Is it divine or human? Divine. Does it change because the way it looks? Remember, that's the flesh. Does it not change because the person given the instruction you think might not know what he's talking about? Does the principle change?
No.
But that's what we do. That's what we do. We understand that God, viewpoint, when God's way of doing things, operates according to principle, despite the person may be given the instruction. But even says, understand the Bible that even if your boss, I'll paraphrase, is terrible, is a jerk. It says, work hard for the jerk, for the non-jerk boss. Does it say that? Does it say that if the boss is a jerk, you don't have to work hard. You don't have to do what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to fulfill your role at the company, wherever you are, to your best of your ability, because your boss is a jerk. Does it say it in the scriptures? It says even if your boss is a jerk.
Work hard.
That's the divine viewpoint. We take human viewpoint and the way we feel about things and the way we think about things and not realize. That's the way we change our lives. We've got to take, no matter how we feel or how we think or how we work things out or how right we think we are, if it doesn't come into line with the divine viewpoint, leave it alone. Even if it's super uncomfortable. Even if it makes no sense. Even if it causes maybe great pain. Just in that great pain, God heals it. We run away from pain. Like it's a terrible thing. Those of you who are into gym, if you really want to get far in gym or get far in MMA or get far in anything, there's painful things you need to go through. If every time you went through a painful situation and you withdrew from whatever you like doing, would you get anywhere?
No.
So why do we do that with life? Why do we do that with life? Jesus had to go through one of the most painful experiences for man. Painful. Emotionally, physically, the whole truth. Mentally, he must have, whoa. Did he shun away from it? And it says, have you resisted sin unto death? He resisted sin unto death. He died because he resisted sin to such a point that they crucified him when they had nothing, no case against him. Us? As soon as the detail of the sin changes a bit, we grab it. We need to operate and work according to divine viewpoint. And it is difficult, man. I'm not standing here saying it's easy. I'm not standing here saying, no, I've got to fight that war daily. And sometimes I lose that battle, and sometimes I gain the battle. But I understand one thing, the principle that operates in my life is allowing myself to remain stable. To remain stable. Keep doing what I do despite the way I feel. Keep going on doing. And as I remain stable, despite the way I feel, despite the mistakes I make, God keeps adding to my life. Keeps opening new doors. Because then I apply a principle in my life. And that's one principle, submission. That's one principle. See how powerful one principle can be in your life. One. Those of you that have made mistakes time and time again, when you've fallen or gone backwards or destroyed something or made trouble with your family to such a degree where there's consequence, what principle were you operating according to? What principle? Tell me. Was there any principle there? Or just your own human viewpoint? So now you want to come to rehab and you want to use your human viewpoint to decide how your rehabilitation will work. It's not Albert Einstein to say that using the same thinking that got yourself in the situation, you cannot use it to get yourself out of the situation. Doesn't matter how upset you are about something, you cannot. Because that's how the enemy deceives you. That's how he gets you. Dresses up in a nice suit and tie, hair's done well, makes perfect sense. I don't have to do it this way. Check it this, man. Why should I do it this way? That's obviously better. It's obviously, come on. What does Ralph know? What does Lucas know? What do you know? Strongholds in the mind are not imaginary areas of weakness or straw men that do not exist. Strongholds in the mind are not imaginary weakness, or they are very real. They are very well fortified. Some of them may have to do with traditions. They may have addictions, moral secrets, or abusive behavior. Imaginations. The word is logismos in Greek. It means system of thought or reasoning. It is a reference to unrealistic reasoning powers of the human viewpoint. The words calculation, reasoning, reflection, and thoughts are all involved in the Greek word logismos. The condition includes sublimations, or means of escaping reality. Imaginations can be compensations for bitterness, frustrations, difficulties, anxieties, and disappointment. It becomes a way to escape reality. Every higher thing. That for me is a power, every higher thing. I like it. Because a lot of time, that's how I believe a lot of us get taken up. Every higher thing that exalts, every higher thing that exalts, every higher thing that exalts. If you allow this high thing to take you away from what God's saying in your life, what you believe, you know. You don't, oh, listen, I don't know. We know. If we know and we decide, yeah, it becomes a high thing in our life. It's a high thing. It means it's higher than when God is in our life. It says here, there are mentally created defenses against divine viewpoint. It means every obstacle of pride. High thing, pride. Pride is both a mental attitude, sin, and a human viewpoint, system of thought. Every high thing is a military weapon in Satan's arsenal. We know that the use of the Greek word epara, which means to assault or attack, uses a weapon to wage war against the divine viewpoint. So pride, think you know better, not listening. How do you know you're filled with pride? If you're unteachable, if you think you know it, if you have excuses all the time, then you know there's pride. If someone catches you doing something you shouldn't do, or they challenge you, you go, oh but. Let me tell you something now, are you being teachable? If it happens over and over again, you'll ask yourself, wait a minute, okay, I don't feel I'm doing anything wrong, but if it keeps happening, okay, let me listen. If you don't, it's pride. It exalts itself against the divine viewpoint. Done. It's principle. Doesn't depend on how you feel, how intelligent you think, it's principle. The knowledge, gnosis of God, Satan's not one Bible knowledge become epignosis, full knowledge. The Holy Spirit objectively helps us learn through the filling of the Spirit the divine viewpoint gnosis. For gnosis to become epignosis or applicable gnosis must be cycled into our human spirit by faith. In other words, I don't think I'm reading that. It's a mission. Okay, there we go. What do we do about the diabolical arsenal of weapons? It's not talking about my soccer team. Not talking about my soccer team. Those of you that don't like Arsenal. Are weapons formed against our mind. 4 things must be done. You must put it down. Who must put it down? You. The person that hurt you. The person that caused you the victim when you were younger. No. You must put it down. This is one of those continuous military metaphors that are so helpful to our understanding phrases like this. It's a picture of an invading army attacking specific military installations erected out of reach of spears and human stature. Some of these strongholds, imaginations, high things and thoughts have been in our minds for a long time. A lot of us here have that situation. It's been there for a long time. So if it's been there for a long time, it looks quite normal. Hello? If it's been there for a long time, it looks like it's part of you. Hello? So it will be very uncomfortable to attack, or to be uncomfortable. It will make you feel uncomfortable. I had a guy a while back, I asked him to deal with a certain situation, and he said to me, he's over it. It doesn't have to. Imagery. It doesn't have to. So I said, just do it. No. I'm over it. Me and this person are still buddies. I don't have to deal with this divorce. It's fine. But I watched them all. I could see how he refused to do anything for me. He didn't do his writing art. He didn't do sorry, it wasn't meant like it, promise. Didn't do his writing art. But he did writing art and so when I came from that angle, he was doing everything. When I came and I said, deal with this specific thing, everything stopped. It stopped. Literally, he didn't do his homework anymore, didn't do his writing art, he just stopped. But when you speak to him about it, he was fine. I don't need to deal with it. So tell me something now. The fruit of me challenging that thing caused him to stand still. It became so much a part of his life that it was normal, it was a part of him, and it was something that he needed to do with, something that he needed to pull down. The day he finally did it, guess what happened? He started doing everything he was supposed to do again. Before that, he stood dead still. Watch him stand still. Watch him not move. I watched him get nothing done. Had excuses for everything. The day he did it, set free. He pulled it down. that thing becomes some, like I said, it looks normal. It's fine, no, we're friends. I don't know. What are you talking about? I have no animosity. It was fine. We got divorced. It's easy peasy. There's no problem there. Okay, do me a favor, just release it. I don't need to. So if he was so sure that he didn't need to, then why did everything else stand still? Why? Then he would have done everything else. He would have left that thing, he would have left, done, here we go, here's my homework, here's my stuff. Yeah, I don't believe it. He didn't even do that. It becomes so much, it becomes normal. So some of us sitting here today, or most of us sitting here today, things in our life that we think we don't have to deal with, we don't have to sort out. If it makes you stand still, if it causes you not to grow, please rethink that. What was the number? 24. 124, 24. 14.
13 and 14.
13 and 14, the question was, what are the answers? What are the two most frequently used terms in Charles Reed's much quoted maxim? I wrote here, choose and think. Yes. Choose and think. Choose and think. Write out the entire maxim. We love what we love, hate what we hate, we do what we do because of what we think. Even more accurately, what we choose to think. I told you. Okay, please, let's close your eyes. Get it from someone else. I see some guys writing out quite quickly here. I'll write. Father God, I thank you for this opportunity you've given me to speak to these people, Lord. I thank you that the word has gone into their hearts. I thank you that they've taken what they need to take, including myself. I thank you that we continue to feed and pursue the divine viewpoint, because you have a purpose for every one of us here. In Jesus' name. Amen.